All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a concept that could honestly change the way you work, the way you think, and maybe even how you live. We're going to explore how to build a modern-day superpower that is becoming absolutely essential for success. So what do you think this superpower is? Is it coding? Is it innovation? Maybe leadership? Well, according to author Cal Newport and business writer Eric Barker, it's something way more fundamental. It's the thing that underpins all of those skills. It's simply the ability to focus. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. First, why this is so critical right now. Then, what it actually is. We'll get into deep versus shallow work. And then, the most important part, how you can actually start building this skill in your own life. Okay, so let's start with the why. Why is this ability to focus so deeply a huge deal for your career, like right now, more than ever before? Well, economists are arguing that we are smack in the middle of this massive economic shift. Intelligent machines, AI, automation, it's not just about robots on an assembly line anymore. They're starting to handle routine thinking tasks too. And this is basically splitting the job market in two. In this new economy, they see three groups who are just going to have a massive advantage. First, you've got the people who can work creatively with these intelligent machines. Second, the superstars, the absolute best of the best at what they do. And third, well, the owners, the folks with the money to invest in all this new tech. And here's the crucial part. The two groups that you can actually work to join, the high-skilled workers and the superstars, they both depend on the exact same ability, being able to master really hard things quickly and produce work at an elite level. And that, my friends, comes directly from deep work. So we get the why. Now let's talk about the what. What in the world is deep work anyway? Let's get a couple of clear definitions on the table. This is the core idea from Cal Newport. Think about a programmer who's hunting down a really tricky bug, or a writer who's crafting that perfect, crucial chapter. It's intense, it's focused, it's hard, and it's where real new value actually comes from. And then there's the other stuff. The stuff that fills up most of our days, right? Answering emails, jumping on another status update call, posting on social media. These tasks don't take a lot of brain power, and honestly, almost anyone could do them. They keep us busy, for sure, but they don't really move the needle. I mean, when you put them side by side, the contrast is just so stark. Deep work is tough, valuable, and it's what makes you better. Shallow work is the opposite on every single point. The big problem is that our modern offices feel like they're literally designed to maximize the shallow and kill the deep. Now, if you remember one thing, make it this formula right here. High-quality work equals the time you spend multiplied by your intensity of focus. See, you can't create more time, but focus is a lever you can pull. If you double your focus, you can get the same quality work done in half the time. That's the incredible power of deep work. And hey, this isn't just some new theory. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung literally built a stone tower in the woods just so he'd have a place to think. And Bill Gates is famous for his Think Weeks, where he just disappears into a cottage to do nothing but read and think. They knew their biggest breakthroughs came from that intense focus. Okay, so we know why it matters, and we know what it is. The big question is, how do we actually do it? How do we make this happen in our crazy busy lives? Let's look at a few big picture strategies. Newport lays out a few different ways to go about this. The monastic approach is the most extreme. You basically become a hermit and cut out all the shallow stuff. Then there's the bimodal approach, kind of like Carl Jung, where you split your time between deep work retreats and then normal life. And finally, the rhythmic philosophy, which is probably the most practical for most of us. You just make deep work a regular habit, like, say, the first 90 minutes of every single day. But no matter which philosophy you lean towards, the challenge is always the same. Where do you find the time? And that means you have to actively fight back against the flood of shallow work. It's kind of shocking when you see the numbers. The typical knowledge worker spends something like 60% of their time on email and meetings. That's all shallow work. It leaves this tiny little sliver of the day for the deep work that actually gets you ahead. This is the exact problem we have to solve. So why do we do this to ourselves? Well, a big part of it is something Newport calls busyness as a proxy for productivity. Basically, in office jobs, it's hard to see who's actually being productive. So we just fall back on what we can see: activity. Answering emails super fast, being in a ton of meetings. It looks like work, so we do more of it to feel productive. A really powerful way to fight this is to give yourself a hard stop.
Just decide, I'm done with work at 5:30 p.m. every day, no exceptions. That hard deadline forces you to be absolutely ruthless with your time. You'll start saying no to things that don't matter because you just don't have time to waste.
Now, this whole thing isn't just about getting a promotion or being more productive. The commitment to deep work, it has a much, much bigger payoff. I mean, sure, deep work helps you learn fast and perform at a super high level. But the benefit is deeper than that. Psychologically, our brains are just wired for this kind of engagement. A life spent just bouncing between a million shallow tasks, it leads to anxiety. But a life where you get to immerse yourself deeply in your work, that's a life that feels meaningful. It feels satisfying. Ultimately, the argument is that by building this skill, you're not just making yourself a better worker, you're actually building a better life. The satisfaction that comes from true craftsmanship, from pushing your mind to its limits to create something valuable, that's one of the best feelings a person can have. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. If you could find just 2 hours of totally uninterrupted, deep work every single day, what amazing project, what new skill, what incredible breakthrough could you bring into the world? The answer to that? Well, it might just be the key to your entire future.